Dr. Madam Victoria Adongo, and Mr. Edward Kariwe, the GAWU Secretary. Thank you. Kindly move. Welcome. And then we'll take a brief remark from our chair. Brief remarks from our chair, and then I want you, as you think about what the chair is going to say, think about what you will say too, because I'll be coming to you next.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Ajia, thank you very much. I didn't know you have my credentials. I think it's hidden credentials, and you have exposed me. Thank you very much. When I got there this morning, I thought I was going to be allowed to participate, and I was approached to be the chairman for this morning section. I'm glad I was given that opportunity because I didn't want to be secretary. Secretary, you keep writing, write the whole day, and you have to make presentation. Chairman, you make sure that people don't talk, they don't sleep, and you lead them to the right path. I think my job is the easiest one this morning for me to perform. I thank you very much. Well, this morning, I hope yesterday you all had a nice sleep, and I'm happy that everybody is here. This morning is going to be, we are going to continue where we left off yesterday. I'm privileged and have the opportunity to call upon my very good friend and my sister, Victoria Adongo, Executive Secretary for PFAG, to do her presentation. Madam Adongo, the floor is yours. Audience, Madam Adongo will be with you in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam will do that later. Now we want to take, but let's give our chairman a round of applause. And then, yes, Honorable Ajay Kwame Asafo, MP for Nsuta. The name is quite long. I'll learn it before we go. I remember Nsuta. I'll add the rest to it later. But we want to recap what we did yesterday. I can tell you what I remember, but I want you to share what you remember from yesterday. And it's not about whose hand is up, but who I go to. So before I do that, you can confess. If you were not here yesterday, put up your hand. Oh, that's smart. 1, 2, 3. Okay, majority of us were here yesterday. 4. All right, so when I walk to you, you tell me what you got from the research findings, from the contributions, from the discussions. What did you get from yesterday? Charles, I'm not coming to you. Thank you. So I'm going here first.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I think yesterday was a very interesting day for all of us. And for me as a researcher, it was particularly interesting to hear about the research results of the 2 professors, Joseph and Joseph. And they explained to us what Ghana's food system is about and what the challenges we are facing there. And yeah, it was very comprehensive what we heard from their sides. And I think, from my understanding, it was interesting to hear, particularly the connection of fertilizers and seeds, and that these things quite often go together. And so far from my side, but I would like to hear what the others have to say.
Thank you. I know there was pressure on you because I came to you first, so that's fine. Now I am going this way, and then I'll get it from Pacho Enra. Then I'll see if
that's it. Me Pacho Enra, the Mishia Kakrana say, I was say a share ye no by no. Ye no quite pie a fast way, bet me and ya, and no by a papa. Na yet me dear boy, ye money, ye mine.
So what she learned is how to take good care of her plants and her farm so she can do better and help her country and her family as well. So I cross over and I come to the extreme and tell me what you learned from yesterday.
Yesterday, during the discussion session, I gathered from the trader and farmer, the lady that spoke in Twi, Regina, about the challenges that farmers face and which traders also face. And it is mainly linked to markets. Because if the market is very efficient, I mean, almost all of what she said would be ironed out. The second issue she raised was with land tenure. And I think as a nation, we need to pay very good attention to land tenure because it's affecting a lot of people and it has implications for the future. Then this one was during lunch. She also raised the issue about cash crops taking over food production fields. And as a nation, I think it is something we have to do because she told me if the cash crops failed, what would we do? Because people would sell their cash crops to buy food. And if that one failed, it meant there would be no food at all. So I think we have to look at that one too as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I am balancing it. So I'm going to my sister, my gun sister.
Ofaine, nye nkase wona agba ini gba wona ye okwami. Achon nibi ni hehia wo. Ni esani amla luoke amehia wo mi kona wawo koni woni chumo eya hie. Agbene wo mamicha uma lehu ewie professor ewie ake ke woje jalani womba police fu ehio woja chun ye gbe no. Ni ehan kai sani ake be ko ya he jachun baba o ya he sebe ya he shito ya he cabbage ya he ni bi baba o ni wo se tesa no police ni wo ke wanted car ne wa lole ni bon ya fo ni fo ahun ni a drive wo kete inside there ni police ni wo ka ke je driver ni hie lole la tawo she driver ni hie lole ne la ka atawo lole iwo e la je ewo ni mfu ahun ni police onupa ka ma ke be ke na ka me ke mi aya ja no ko ni ya hon ni bi esi ni bi ni yen ni bi ni fitio ewo agbene hu minta ma pa amla lo ofai ake amamo chemical stores strot ni echon white elephant ekoye sechiama obon area ekoye ademan lehu emajen tofa bemi noko bemi ni wo area wo ye nu wo ye shipon ehwe wo inputs tomo noko tomo pumping machine ke wo ko ba tun wo nye wo he na 11,000 no ba nyon le light am 100 ne ya onmomi to ba fe to na shika no ke he ne ke light 100 ne wo ba pa mla lo fai koni na kani bi e fe na mamo ne chon white elephant ne ke no kwa womi aha woni wonye wo he abale shefio to mo na me fe filling station na me fe gold ke ni bi ni koya he eje fa fe private one say one small koni amla lo ke ni bi awomi koni wona wo he je distant bi ni wona wo he koni wo ke tun woni e wo enwona ake would have been in hani no program na he nimba e wo ameriadon.
So the summary of what she said is that when yesterday our chairperson, Prof, said sometimes, in fact, the police, we can pass a law that the police should not stop vehicles carrying foodstuff because they are perishable. She was very excited, but it reminded her of an encounter she had with the police when she was coming from Obom. Yes. So she was coming with foodstuff, most of them very perishable, and then they got to Tesano and the police arrested them that the vehicle was wanted. So they were taken to the police station. They spent quite some time there, and later it was confirmed it's not the vehicle that is wanted but the driver who was wanted. But the driver had run away, given the vehicle to another person to work with. So they were asked to then go to the market, offload the goods, and then bring the vehicle back. But then when she got there, she had already lost some time. And then she also has concerns about chemical shops built to sell chemicals for their inputs for their farm. and yet they are white elephants. You don't see any chemicals in them. So if they want anything, they still have to go somewhere else to go and get it. It doesn't help. And then some of the inputs they need are too expensive. If government can subsidize it so that they can be able to afford, it will make it a lot better. Thank you. And she's grateful she's here. At least she can get to share her opinion. I'm being gender biased, I know. I'm here.
Okay. Yesterday, I also learned from the research that most of what we consumed is based on the presentation. And so the researcher was using lily rice, the presentation of lily rice as an example. And so there was a call to food engineers and industrialists to help present and preserve our local products very well, so that when the farmers produce, it will not be lost to post-harvest issues and lack of storage and all of that. Because we also learned that they actually produce, but not much of it is lost to post-harvest losses. And from some of the farmers who also complained or were enlisting their challenges, I also learned that they need help with how to manage their farms. One was complaining about the water bodies that they use in watering the plants, which were infested with nematodes and all of that. So, yes.
Thank you. The Tamale crew. I'll skip you.
Yeah. Yesterday I learned a lot, but the least I can remember is we learned about the fall of armyworms, and then I was very happy the way government is coming out to measures to control the fall of armyworms, and then also the food planting for food and jobs. I also learned a lot about that, and then I was happy the way government is trying to help farmers, because we from the north, we have a lot of challenges on our farming activities, especially financial problems. And if the government is trying to help us in this way, it is very, very happy mood. So
I think you are the soberest, if there's anything like that, from the Tamale crew. Thank you very much. And we'll talk more about the planting for food and jobs. So at least all those who were here yesterday remember something. There was a lot, but the one that addresses your challenge is the one I'm sure you pay more attention to. So that is our recap of day 1. Day 2 is a new day, and we are going to take more revelations, I will call it. Because sometimes you know the problem, but because it's not backed by research, you are not sure if you are seeing right or you are just imagining things. So we'd like to talk about the global food systems perspective, and we'd like to invite Jim Woodhill, who is with the Food Systems Group, the Environmental Change Institute of University of Oxford, to make his presentation. Let's welcome him, please.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here, back in Ghana again. I've been here a couple of times before. What I'd like to do in the next little while is to put some of the challenges that we were talking about yesterday in a bigger global perspective. What are some of the big things that are changing in the world, and how might that impact on what's happening with agriculture and small-scale agriculture here in Ghana. Can I just ask you a question for a moment? Hands up, how many people in this room are businesswomen or businessmen? Yeah, hands up, how many people in this room are farmers? Yeah, how many people are farmers? All hands up? Yeah, so I think we're then looking at the business women and men in the room, huh? And that's also part of where we would like to end up with this discussion, is how do we really think about your businesses, and particularly the issues we were talking about yesterday of connections to markets. Now, where's my translator? We thought we might translate a few of the things that I say. Ben, do you want to come up here somewhere and be my... We're doing this partly because I don't speak your language and partly because I have this funny Australian accent. Although I'm working in the United Kingdom, I did come from Australia, and in Australia my father was a farmer as well. Actually, I should say my mother and my father were farmers. Okay.
Make a tree, Kaka. I say, okay. Nti, edika no bisa say ye muhwan ana ye mudodo say ne wa ye ekuafo ana say ye business. Na how I know that ye bobo so ewa ha efakua ye ene dwumadi a ye di nyina no. Opese ono nso nkyerɛkyerɛ ene obeye no. Ye de kɔ hwɛ ewiase afa na nyina sɛ de saa ha ono nso ha ye nkuayo. Na me begina ha na me na kyerɛkyerɛ because kasa ewo Australian English mu na onyini ebe nyina nso na ne papa ne maame nso eye kuafo nti oti kuaye no ase.
So Ben, I won't get you to translate everything because it'll take too long, but I'll tell you the things to maybe give a summary of. What's the best way? Maybe if you can just stand there and then I can see people and then... So these are a few things we'd like to talk through this morning. A little bit of about the Farmers and Food Systems projects, taking a food systems perspective, some big trends in the world, and then what does that mean for business models for small-scale agriculture?
Nti ose ene no ye behwe ekuafo ene ye nuane ehun nsem enyina efiri emra ye do transport for anaka for ebem dwadifo ebem kopem se ebedru ye mfie ni ahwe hawa ewo saa nneoma ni nyina mu ansana yahwe saa hawa ye nya no Ghana ha no enye Ghana ha nkwa wiase afa na enyina so saa ha no ho na ye de atoto ho ni ahwe ekwan a ye befa so a yenso ye beso saa ha na no.
Very briefly, I'm standing here because me and my colleague Alison are working on a project that is looking at some of the larger challenges about small-scale agriculture in the global food system. It's funded by the Open Society Foundation, who also is supporting PFAG, and we are looking at case studies in Zambia and Ghana.
Okay, into say enye ononkwa na ebedi djuma ne ene one ne colleague Alisa ena ebedi djuma no na omo eye edwumadie bi a omo de busumi dumienu ena eye omo ye research bi afa ekuafo nketoa ho ene ehawa omo FM na saa dwumadie omo di no osiwa anase Open Society Foundation ana ebo omo anso na ebo PFAC ana ekuafo nketoa ekuwe wo Ghana no edwumadie.
The nice big sign here talks about food systems. And perhaps it's good just to remind ourselves what we mean when we say a food system.
About Ghana, Kru and Ghana Maina, Yeduane emu insem, nti ononso obechere de onimfa Yeduane ehun insem enyina ewo nijumedin.
There is a nice expression from farm to fork. There is a nice expression from farm to fork.
Say your nchirechiremu bebre efa ifum ejuma ene there was your kasa anasi your jumedi bebre a free you yedua aduane ye betwa akopem se bedru ye fie na ye bedi enso.
What I would like to talk about a little bit today is what people will be putting on their fork in 5, 10, 20 years' time, and how many people are going to have forks to put food on.
I say, and the Jumedi obedino, the opesa yesua efrimu pa ne say, dear ye bedi ewe ye fie, yemfane say ye de atre ene edidi ewo fie, na ye share in fie enum edu in fie dunum a edi enimu ya. Nioma anase aduane a wode beto saa atre no so edi ewe in fie da ye nimu no, eno no obeka ho asebene.
Because over the coming years, we have very, very big changes that are going to happen, and that's going to have very, very big impacts on farmers.
See, you hear in fear, dear Nimia or Kenya, Yemfan in fear, Dunum are Ebeya, you how be are Ebeba Iriase. Now, a house or Ebano, Mutitrupa, no Ewukia, any Nuania Yebina Edium.
Do we have a pointer here by any chance? Or? Okay, no problem. But the big point about this diagram is we need to think about all of the parts of the food system and how that affects the business of farmers. We need to think about who's consuming what, where. We need to be thinking about all of the processing, the storing, and also the waste of food, how all of that system is working together, and how does that impact on farmers.
Okay. I see you hear diagram na edaso na opese ye kire Jumedia yenuane FM emra ye dua de ye de beka ho anase kwan be fa so be process ne kakra ekwan a ye ba beto na edru ye mfie ene hwan ene na sede ye se mpen bia so no oye ne jumedie ema ne nso ebem.
I won't go spend too much time on this, but food systems also eventually get very complicated. And if you look at the global food system, it ends up looking something a bit like that.
I see you hear enuane mu nsem na eye enuoma won kakra because eno da ye hwe even presentation ye na we say yemfa kuafo omo twika omo didwa if bi so ba wo say yade ne yenko hwe FDA fo ne emisa wo mo chese eye enuoma bi a edoso pa nti onhye danse mre bebre ewo enso obekirima me yate ase.
But if we think about that very complex food system, it has implications for all of the Sustainable Development Goals, the things we're interested in around health and environment and better economies.
Osi yehwe yenuane ana yekuya yejuma na ye na yehwe SDGs ana se enisuade hu na ewiase nyina ewa esi eniso no ehwe ekuyaye a ewo ne how a ewo kuyaye mu no affect sa SDG ana se enisuade hu nyina yehwe yen apomuden kuyaye eka ho yehwe yen kuru anase yen environment nso ayetima kuaye enso eka ho nti kuaye ya ade a ewo how ewo yen botae a yede wo wiase nyina.
For example, food systems are really critical for the empowerment of women and for women's agendas.
See ehwe yenuane ana yen kuaye a eye very ade a ehu hia pa ema emma tumi di anase be ma ema enso enye tumi ewo abrabom anase ewiase.
A few extra dollars from farming makes a difference between children having education and good health or not.
Ikuaya ayeye no sika kakra bi a yebenya ewu mu no eno na be ma yehu se ema a wo mawo emma ombetimi akọ school ombetimi enya apomodin pa anase omunya.
So globally people are really realizing much more how important food systems are to the whole long-term development agenda, and there's a lot of discussion at the global level at the moment about food systems.
You see hwe ikuaye ene aduane a yenye omuna ewiase afa na nyina nipa dodo na nkasa eni eku ho efri se yenuane sem yekuaye ekoyi a ebeboa ama yenso yedwumadi a yedi wo wiase no atimi abem.
I'd like to just talk briefly about a few big trends that are also going to have big influences here in Ghana.
See, ye pesi ye hwe dwumadi anase ekwan ahodo bi a yenua ne sem no ebesi afaso na ye mfa ntoto nneoma eyisisi nso ewiase ho.
Can anybody tell me what that row of numbers at the bottom mean?
So bi betimi abomoden aka bibi kakra afa ntworoye a ya tworogu board no so no ase de no obetimi aka bibi afa ho.
Do we have any economists in the room?
Ye wo economists bi ha obetimi aka bibi kakra afa ho ntworoye na egu board no so no.
A guess? Oh, you're an economist. Do you know what those figures might mean? Do you know what those figures, what 18, these figures here 29, represent? Can you have a guess? You don't see them well. Okay, maybe they're a bit small. Let me tell you. These are the figures for population growth and urbanisation in Ghana in 2018, 2030 and 2060. So today we have about 30 million people in Ghana, is that roughly right?
Yeah.
29.6. Yep. And about half, nearly half, are already living in urban areas. By 2030, there will be 37 million people and 25 million people living in urban areas. And by 2060, there will be 54 million people and 45 million, in fact, about 80% will potentially be living in urban areas. So just imagine the changes from today over the next 20, 30, 40 years of having that size population with 45 million living in urban areas in Ghana and how you're going to feed those people. Now, on one hand, that's a bit frightening. On the other hand, for the potential of agriculture, it would seem to be a pretty big opportunity as well.
Nti de ochire mu nyina ne se ye hwe numbers a ya chro ewo epono ne so na 18 ene dikan 18 ne ode kire se afie ewo mu eye 2018 na afi 2018 mu no enipa dodo a sisi a Ghana nko a ye we no eye 29 million nipa ane wa na sa 29 million ni mu no emu 16 million eti nkro akesiem efa no urban cities no emu tim na osad na nibu say in the next 30 years and 2030 to come no nipa no betimi anyini adu 37 million sa 37 million no ohun ni say emu 25 million ebetena nkru akesiem na say ye 2016 so a 2060 no ye dodo ana population betimi anyini adu 54 million emu 45 million ebetena nkru akesim nti opa kire se nti ye hwe se ne mre a eda yanim no etie ene se ne ye ndodo ne be ye na ya kru kasiem nipa nso adoso ne ye nkui a ye ne ye nuane ho nsem no se ne be ye e kire se how pa edai eda yanim a ye se ye hwe ne ye.
This same trend happens everywhere globally, but also one of the really big shifts you can see is in massive increase of the size and the wealth of the middle class right around the world. And that's also going to dramatically shift diets and dramatically shift the sorts of food that people are interested in over the next 20 or 30 years.
To say dodo na anase ye nyini ekono ye number no increase ewo ewiase nyina na ye hwe a ye ne ye adantemfo ye ne a ehia ye anase ye nheda enya sika musu no ye dodo no eye de ba soro pa na ekwan bebri nso ye faso nya ye nuane no nso ye dwumadie bia ese ye hwe ne ye ene bia ye pese ye nuane no efri.
The other thing we're going to have to think about very carefully is the relationship between food and health.
Enioma yes ye hwe ne yie pa sisi a eye nkitahudie ananyonkofa eda enuane a ye dimu ene yen apomuden.
we still have some very high levels of undernutrition in the world, which are a big concern and that really need to be addressed.
Yɛhwɛ yɛn wiase sisi ana nnuane a yɛdi na yɛwɔ ɛfa nnobaeɛ a ɛyɛ sɛ anaasɛ nnuane nnuro a ɛwɔ yɛn nnuane mu a yɛdi ɛwɔ yɛn fie no ɛwɔ fam paa.
But very frighteningly, we see a big increase in the number of people that are suffering from overweight or obesity, which has big health implications for things like diabetes and massive costs on our health systems.
Yɛhwɛ nnuane na yɛdi na nnuane nnuro no wɔ fam no ne nyinaa mu yɛsɛ hu sɛ nnuane na yɛdi no ɛma yɛyɛ akɛseɛ anaasɛ bebree naa no yɛn nnuane na yɛdi no ɛma yɛyɛ akɛseɛ na ɛde yareɛ bebree te sɛ obesity ne sugar level problems nyinaa nso ɛba.
The consequences of this, as we go 20 or 30 years out and this trend goes like this, can completely bankrupt the capability to cope with health systems.
Sɛ yɛhwɛ nsusuanso a yɛn nnuane a yɛdi ɛde ɛba a mfie bɛyɛ sɛ aduasa ɛda yɛn anim no na kyerɛ sɛ yɛn apɔmuden no ɛbɛsɛe koraa ɛbɛma yareɛ nso afa yɛn mu.
This is a diagram that shows what the World Health Organization says we should be eating.
See, yɛhwɛ pono no so na diagram na ɛda hɔ no ɛkyerɛ sɛ health organization anaasɛ apɔmuden nnwumayɛfoɔ no nneɛma a wɔn kyerɛ sɛ nka nipa nnuane bi sɛ na nka ɛwɔ sɛ yɛdi.
A lot of fresh fruit and vegetables.
Ɛsɛ yɛdi nnuane te sɛ fruits.
Yeah. Not too much cereals and starches.
Na yɛdi not too much of starchy food te sɛ bankye bayerɛ ne sɛ nnuane no ne kwan sɛ yɛdi bebree bi saa.
And a reasonable balance of protein.
Na deɛ ɛbɛma yɛn nnuane no te sɛ protein so no yɛdi bɛyɛ sɛ 20% pɛ ɛwɔ yɛn nnuane mu.
This next diagram shows what the world is actually producing.
Na yɛhwɛ next diagram no nso ɛda hɔ no ɛkyerɛ sisi a ewiase ɛwɔ mu yi ɛba yɛn kuaeɛ a ne yɛyɛ produce ankasa anaasɛ ne yɛyɛ dua na yɛdi.
So whereas a good diet says we should be eating 49%, I think it says, of fresh fruit and vegetables, we're actually only producing 11% globally.
Yɛhwɛ deɛ ɛwɔ sɛ yɛdi na nka yɛsi yɛdi fresh fruit sɛ ankaa ne vegetables yɛdi bɛ 49%, but the same mmerɛ mu yɛn nso yɛtumi dua 11% pɛ ɛna yɛtumi dua.
So the big message here is if we want food that produces health, we need to dramatically change what our food system looks like.
Nti wɔsi sisi a no nka ɛbɔ pɛ sɛ ɔde ma yɛn sɛ yɛpɛ sɛ yɛ food system no change a na kyerɛ sɛ nnuane na yɛdua no ɛwɔ sɛ yɛn nso yɛhwɛ ne yie na yɛdua nnuane a ɛbɛboa yɛn ankasa.
Which of course has dramatic implications for what farmers produce and how they produce.
Ɛna ɛba ne saa nso a ɛwɔ nsunsuanso ɛwɔ neɛ ekuani ebedua ɛne sɛneɛ obedua no nso.
Another big trend we have to think very carefully about, as everybody knows, is climate change.
Ɔsisi a yɛ nneɛma a akuafoɔ anaasɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛyɛ yɛnim ɛne ewiem nsakraeɛ ho a ɛha yɛn kuaeɛ a yɛfrɛ no climate change no.
This diagram shows that 30% of our greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture.
Ɔsɛ yɛhwɛ deɛ da pono no so na pɛmu aduasa ɛyɛ ɛhaw a agriculture ana akuaeɛ no ɛde ɛwɔ wɔ ewiem nsakraeɛ ɛho.
We also know the big impacts that we're expecting from climate change on agricultural productivity.
Ɛna yɛn ɛhaw paa nso a ɛwɔ ewiem nsakraeɛ ɛne yɛn kuya adwuma no sɛde bɛyɛ ɛbɛkɔ so anaasɛ kwan a ewiem nsakraeɛ no ɛha yɛn kuya adwuma no.
So we have very big challenges in being able to produce food in an environment of climate change, but also trying to reduce the greenhouse gases that come from agriculture and food systems. Again, big implications for farming systems.
Nti sisi ano ɛhaw a yɛfa mu nyinaa ne sɛ yɛpɛ sɛ yɛdua nnuane na nka yɛnya bi di yɛdua ne papam nanso ewiem nsakyerɛe ɛmma ho kwan ɛma yɛntumi nnua nnuane a yɛbɛtumi yɛde yɛpɛ yɛnsutɔ no ɛnyɛ ewia nso ɛbɔ nti saa haw yi nyinaa yɛ nneɛma a ɛha yɛn kuya adwuma no.
Where does chicken in Ghana come from? where does chicken in Ghana come from?
I say ehina yenya nkukọ ewe ewo Ghana na say Ghana ehina yenya nkukọ ewe.
Brazil? Brazil and the Netherlands. Yeah? Does that sound sensible? Lots of debates about food and global trade and where our food's coming from and where it's going to come from. There's all sorts of different views on this, but what we do know is our food system is increasingly globalised, and the pressures in Asia is going to increase global trade in food, and even in Africa, if you think about the massive population growth that's going to happen in Nigeria, very big implications for regional trade in food as well.
I see you here in Nuane nsem na ubisa say ehin yenya akokori ana yemu bika say akokor de bebre na ewe ne Ghana na ifri Brazil ene nkurura aka no ubisa say na ohwe a nyansa wo mu kakra because ana o chese ye hwe se ne yesi enyini e owiase especially yemfa Nigeria omo population no e kosuru yie pa nti emre bi beba wiase afan na nyina ye beka ye ho abom na ye nyina ye di aduane ho edwa.
When we think about all of these big issues or big trends in the food system, there are some big issues that we also need to be thinking about.
Ye ka enuane a ye dua ye nkua ye nyina ye wo nsem bi a eho hia pa nso a e wo se ye boboso.
When you have such a large population living very densely in urban areas, food safety becomes a very big issue. We've seen some very big global scares around food safety, around pesticides in food, around microbes in meat products and so on.
See ye hwe enuane ana say ye titi nkuru akese mu nipa no enyini ekoso no ye nuane ye die se ye hwe ne ye bibi ti say enuane no enho bambo ankasa especially de ye bedi no ye hu ni say eye papa ana say ye de ndro bebre ene dua because ye dose nti ye pese ye ne ntem na ye bebrebe na enya bi nso di tie se ye hwe ye food safety no so ho nsem ye.
I've already mentioned health costs. Another thing that people sometimes don't think enough about is antimicrobial resistance from using too much antibiotics, which could have huge impacts for both human and animal health if we don't manage that issue properly.
I say enam sa ni ntino ye nyini na esi yedua nuane ne bebrebe nneema pa esi a no ebe ha adwen kese eye nduro a ye de yekua no anase ye de gu ye nuane no so no ewo nsunsanso ewo ye ne ankase ya pomoden ene even omo ye no omo emoa ne no ba ye no omo ewo asase so no ni nyina ewo nsunsanso ewo omo so.
All of this food system under pressure also makes the likelihood of disease outbreaks, both human and animal and plant, much more likely. And you've seen the armyworm disaster here in Africa very recently.
Ye nuane no how ana say pressure e won so na e de insusanso bebreba e ma yare echiche ye nuane no e wo yemfuom na nansi akra Ghana ye kaya armyworms ya e ba yi ni nyina eye nsunsanso ye nwumadie ene kwan a yefa so a ye afuo no ehu.
So one of the risks is if we get a disease outbreak, a big drought in a different part of the world, maybe we just run into some big food crises that really have a big impact on food prices like we saw in 2008.
See sisi ano se ye mfuom no yenya nyare bebre chichi ye no baaye no na se insuo nso eho ye den insuo ewewe ewo mmea na kire se ye benya aduane mu hawo pa enam sa ntia bema aduane bo no akosoro ama ewiase nyina.
This graph shows food prices and conflict around the world, and you can see extremely clearly in a whole place set. This is from around 2008. As food prices rise, you can see all of these red lines are where there were conflicts and civil unrest in different places. So farmers have a critical role in keeping peace in the world.
Nti do pa kire nyina ne se ye hwe diagram ya da ho ya o kire ntokwa ene kuaye ehu se ntokwa esi a ema kua enubaye no ebo no ekosoro ye hwe 2008 ekosoro pa nti okɔhwɛ afi 2012 nso diagram pastor ɔkyerɛ sɛ ntɔkwa esisi mmea ɛma aduane boɔ nso ɛkɔ soro paa ɛnam saa nti ɔno de ɔpɛ sɛ ɔka kyerɛ nyinaa yɛ sɛ si ɛka ɔmo boa ɛma asomdwie ɛba ewiase paa na ɛsɛ akuafoɔ nso ɛka ho bi.
As we think about the future, it's perhaps interesting to think about some different scenarios of how the future of the food system might look and what that would mean for farmers. This was an exercise that was done by the World Economic Forum, bringing a set of top global leaders together. And I think it's interesting just to explore this for a moment.
Yɛhwɛ diagram yɛ da wɔ sɛ yɛhwɛ yɛn daakye sɛnea yɛn nua ne sɛm bɛɛ no ɛbɛyɛ den so sɛ yɛn nyinaa yɛbɛdwendwono ne abobo ɛkwan bɛɛ ne yɛmfa so nyɛ kua no na wei yɛ dwumadi bi a wadi a ɔpɛ sɛ ɔne yɛn nyinaa yɛhwɛ yɛhwɛ dwumadi a yɛn nso yɛbɛtumi de ɛbɛboa yɛ ama yɛtumi yɛnya yɛn botaeɛ mfie a ɛdi yɛn anim no.
It shows on one level being connected, having connection across the world, connection regionally in how we manage our food system.
Nti nkitahodie a ɛdeda aman ani akuakuo mu ɛfa yɛn nuane ne yɛn kua yɛ adwuma ne ho.
And it shows here whether we manage resources in a much more efficient and effective way, or whether we exploit our resources a lot more.
Ɔsɛ pɛ sɛ yɛhwɛ yɛwɔ resources bebree ɛwɔ aman nyinaa mu nti yɛbɛyusu resources ni yɛmfa yɛn saase yɛn kwaeɛ yɛbɛgyina na yɛyusu ne yie ɛde ayɛ kua no anaasɛ yɛbɛyɛ ne biara na yɛlusu ɛwɔ mfie ɛdi anim no.
So we can think of things where the rich people live in a nice bubble and get their food and nobody else does.
Ti ebetimi adwene bibi ti sɛ esikafoɔ anaasɛ ɔmo sika ɔmo betimi de atɔ aduane no ɔmo te baabi a ɔmo de ɔmo nya ɔmo aduane edi.
We can think about where we just push resources over the edge and nobody has the resources to eat properly.
Ana yɛ pa nso a sise mmere ma yɛbetimi ayɛ de epe nyinaa de nya aduane no adi na mfie de yɛnim ne de obian ɔmo nya saa akwanya no nya nnuane ne saa.
We can think perhaps about an island or one country which maybe does very well for itself by just keeping everything internal, but everybody around them is really struggling because they don't have access to all the resources that perhaps they need.
Penso a yɛbɛhwɛ nkuro bi a ebi a ɛda nsuo bi so na yɛahwɛ ɛkwan a ɛbɛfa so ɛbɛboa ɔmo nkuayɛ no because ɔmo no bebree na ɔmo gye nnuane no free bi afoforɔ nso.
And we can think what a more interconnected yet resource-efficient system for producing our food might be like.
Yɛpɛ nso a yɛbɛka yɛn nyinaa yɛn ho abom ne yɛahwɛ ɛkwan a yɛbɛfa so a yɛbɛyɛ yɛn nkuayɛ ɛwɔ sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɛbɛboa ama daakye nso yɛbɛnya resources ne bi na yɛdepending on ɛso na yɛde ayɛ yɛn nkua.
But let's not be too pessimistic about all this.
Ni kwan sɛ yɛgye di bebree about deɛ ɔkeka yɛn nyinaa because ɛyɛ suggestion ɛna ɔne ɛkyɛ.
There are many different ways we can think about improving our food system. Some are technological, some are management, some are farming ways. We see a lot of shift in technology as well that could open up all sorts of interesting opportunities that could also influence the way we can improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the way our markets work, improve better connection, better communication. I'm sure many of you have seen the mobile phone technology, how that's enabled people to have access to prices and so on. So there's a lot that can help to tackle these challenges.
You see, yɛn nuane a yɛdi ɛwɔ wiase na yɛwɔ kwan bebree ɛbɛfa so yɛbɛyɛ ne yie ama na yɛ yie ama daakyefoɔ nso yɛbɛtumi afa bibi sɛ abɔdeɛ mu nyansapɛ ne ahwɛ kwan a yɛbɛfa so a yɛbɛyɛ yɛn kua no amana anaasɛ yɛne ankasa kuafoɔ no ankasa no dwumadi na adesua bi a ɛwɔ si yɛsua na mboa ɛma yɛn kuayɛ no nso ɛnyɛ yie.
Coming back to the project that we're looking at, trying to understand better how farmers fit in the global food system, we are using this picture.
Pɛsɛ yɛhwɛ wiase nyinaa ɛkwan a akuafoɔ ɛfa so ɛboa amienya aduane di nti wɔde mfonyini na ɛkyerɛ.
I think quite often there's been a tendency to focus just on increasing production here.
Mpempi ne ya na yɛhwɛ akuafoɔ nketewa ɛkwan a ɛbɛfa so a yɛbɛma ɔmo dwumadi anaasɛ ɔmo kuayɛ no ɔmo anya no baeɛ no mmoroso anaasɛ bebree.
We're looking at what's happened here? There we go. So this is pulling together a lot of what I've already said. This is linking together a lot of what I have already said.
Nti the oka ni nyina ne say picture na asem fo nyina da ho ni nyina na eka bom eye dwumadi a yenki kambo mu sede be ya yenku adwuma na ase yenuane sem ebekoyi.
If we want to look at the future of small-scale agriculture, we think we need to understand consumption better.
Yepese ye hwe yenku afo wonketoa adwumadi omudi ewo kuaye ne aduane mu a then ese ye hwe ye di no nso eyi anase mu nsem eyi.
We need to look at how markets are going to change, not just over the next 1 or 2 years, but over a 5, 10, 20-year time period, and how those markets are going to change nationally, regionally, and globally.
Na ose ye hwe ekwan so a yenkita hodie ana yendwadie efakuaye mu no enso ebesesa ensesa ebia ena mfie baako ana mienum na emom yenhwe daache se mfie du eko na ebese ne be ebesesa ewo ewiase nyina ebeba yenkrum na anase abayen region mu anase abayen krase enso.
And we need to think very carefully about where are farmers and rural people getting their income from, and perhaps what constitutes a living income, because we know most poor farmers don't want their children to be poor farmers.
Ose e wose ye hwe we nyina wi a ye hwe ye kuafo no nso a omo wo yenkro nketo anase yenkrase eye afu no e wose ye hwe situation a omo ewom yofa omusika semo ho omapo omuden na ehwe ebia nso omunya omunsika no yedai efri.
So how will population and urbanization and diet change? Who will produce and what will be traded? How will business models for small-scale farmers change? And what is a living income and what are non-farm incomes, and how does all of this fit together?
Ose ye hwe enoma bi ti say sene ye dɔɔso ewo ewiase ɛna sɛ nipa bebre na etuba enkuro akasiem eni nnuane a yedi na kwan be na befa so a ebesesa emu na ye hwɛ bibi sɛ de yatimi adua na yatwa no kwan be na befa so a yebedi ehu edwa sɛ de be ye kuafo no nso ebenya bibi na nam saa ne nti no kwan be na yebefa so a ye nyina ebeka bom sɛ de be ya akuani no yebepe mmara bi anase nhyehyeye bi ede a change omusuban anase on abrabo ewo yenkurase na de toso de twato no nso no yenhwe ekwan a yenkuafo no ebenya sika efri afuom ene nnwuma bi omobeye nso a enye afuom adwuma ehun.
And this is a framework for thinking not about tomorrow, but what will happen in 5, 10, 20, 30 years' time.
Na de yeke nyina nso enye ade a ehu ni se ebesi ochine ya na emom yem plan se yebe no ebia mfie enum edu na yebe faso na se ebinya ehu nsunsanso.
We had lots of discussions yesterday about what is a small-scale farmer, and I don't think there is such a thing as a small-scale farmer. The small-scale farmers with all sorts of different characteristics.
Na eno da ye professor kyerɛkyerɛ akuafo nketewa mu no ye kan na ensempi na ye hwɛ de a akuafo ketewa no eye enoma bebre ane ye de kyerɛ de oyɛ akuafo ketewa.
So all of this comes to perhaps thinking about what are the overall transformation strategies for small-scale agriculture over the long term.
Nti ye pese ye hwɛ ekwan a yenkuya wi a ye ne nketewa mu no ebesesa anase nsesan ebebem ewo mfie a eda anim no.
This is a model that has been developed to talk about 3 different pathways. Stepping up, farmers that become more commercialized, getting a better income. Farmers that are sort of hanging in, they're there but they're not really doing very well out of farming. And those that perhaps decide to move out to other forms of income.
Nti ose we ye dwumadie bi so a obidi ya kyerɛ sɛ nneɛma yɛ ya akuafo nso ebeka boom anase ombɛkɔ ye obibi ti sɛ stepping up ɛyɛ mmara bi kyerɛ sɛ farmers no waye kuani ketewa akyɛ nti ɔbɔ no ho modern sɛ ɔba bɛyɛ akuani a obedua na watɔn no anya sika afrim anase ɔmu bia saa sɛ afini du na sɛ yekuaye time a ɔmmra no waye bi oni mmra nso ano apɛ ne ba bi ayɛ dai atena anase to da bi nso kra de a na enkurase no farmers no ejai kuaye no kra.
And the big point here is perhaps that we need to think about different policies for these different levels rather than just one policy for all small-scale farmers.
Nti de opeso kyerɛ ne sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ mpanyimfo etena na omunya nhyehyɛ anase mmara bi ema akuafoɔ nketewa no ɛwɔ dwumadie anaasɛ kwan ɛfa so a yɛhu ɔmo bi asɛ ɔmo pɛ so ɔmo yɛ akɛseɛ ɔmo pɛ anaasɛ ɔmo ɛdeda ntam anaasɛ ɔmo afiri kuae mu na mɛmeyɛ nyɛ mmara baako ɛma akuafoɔ nyinaa.
So perhaps a big question. If Ghana is heading to a population of over 50 million that is 80% urbanised, what different business models will emerge for small-scale farmers?
So obisa yen question say Ghana ebe nya nipa anase Ghana ebe nyini akọ nipa 50 million na se emu 80% eti nkuro akesie mu a nhyehyɛ ebe anase enoma be na wose yedigu akwan mu ema akuafo nketwa.
One way of thinking about business models is this what's called a business model canvas. But the important thing is really trying to understand customers. What are the partnerships? What's the different value? What are you offering? What are the relationships with consumers? Really what this model is saying is that rather than thinking about farming being at the farming level, we need to think about the connection between farming across the whole value chain as a farmer.
I say, Zesi ano person wa de model etu yanim na ye bobo hu se isi ano ye kua ye no enye se midua enko a ye pese ye bibi a odua ewie a onso e wo value chain na se ento se emeduru efie na ye nso ye ndi no kuani no enso e wo dwumadie bi a odi e wo saa ekwan no mu enyina.
And for different models, I sat next to one of you this morning who is both a trader and a farmer. So already we see different sorts of models starting to emerge about how all of this works together.
Same rekra na ye ka no ye wakuafo bebre omo ne adetonfo bebre ewo nkitahudie ntina che se ye ne ankase ye wo saa nhyehyɛ ne bi ye de ewo ho na emum ye hwɛ kwan ye beka ne nyina bom a ebeboa ye ne akuafo na ankasa ne yenkuaye.
Even if you imagine that within Ghana's urban areas people need to be eating a lot more fresh fruit and vegetables, what are the completely different sort of business models that might make that possible?
Ose ye hwɛ Ghana ye nkuro akɛse mu na yewo enuane ahodo bebre a eye tise vegetables ni fruit na a ewa ha na ekwan be na efa so a eba ni nyina eye nhyehyɛ bi a ye de agu akwan mu ntini ye nhwɛ de ye ne ewo nkro nketua no mu nso ene nhyehyɛ bi a betimi ayɛ aye se de be ya ni nyina ye ka boma ebeboa kwadwuma no.
So I was wondering if we might just take 5 minutes to finish off and ask you to have a discussion in groups of 3 about what sorts of different business models do you think might emerge over the next 20 years in Ghana? Who would they be selling to? How would the market be organised? How would aggregation be achieved for economies of scale?
Opese ye nyina no yete ho ase na ye che mu miensa na ye yusu sima enumpe na ye bisa ye ho nsembise ne ansa se ekwan be na ye befa so a ye beton ye nobaye.
So just take 5 minutes to talk to 2 of your neighbours and talk about how you think different models for agriculture might change.
Enti ye pese ye nipa miensa ye bisa ye ho saa ensem ekwan be na be fa so e beton ye nobaye ekwan be na ye mfa so na hwe ye market no ye be organize na afa na e be boa ye ne ankasa. Enti nipa miensa na ye nhia na ye nyina emobo saa ensem bisa ye ho.
3 people in a group having a little discussion, and then we'll hear a few responses. Yep.
No, just discussion.
What? No, just talk. And then we'll hear a few responses. Just talk.
We will be picking the responses from the participants. So, group response. Yeah, the answers. Okay. So, Adam Vic wants to. Okay. So now, who would they be selling to? In the next 20 years, who would smallholder farmers be selling to? And the rest. So you can just summarize all your answers in.
Yeah. Thank you very much. what we are, based on the presentation that we have made, it's all looking ahead, not right now. So who would the farmers be selling based, looking at the fact that there's going to be a huge urbanization? Almost half of the population will be in the urban areas. So the target market will be the urban areas, you know, the cities and the big towns. That is where the target market will be. And then looking at the growing middle class, you know, there's going to be a growing middle class. We are looking at, okay, so what would this quote-unquote elite kind of nouveau riche, where would they be buying their things? So we are looking at very huge supermarkets coming up for the middle class. But we are also saying that the traditional markets, open markets, will always be there, you know. So we have the supermarkets, the elite or the middle class looking at the supermarkets, which are normally very close to residential areas. But you also have the very huge markets that people would like to go to, you know, freely on ordinary, normal time. So how would the market be organized? We are looking at what's happening now and not totally transforming, but growing bigger. So how would the market be organized? We are looking at it on commodity based. If you go to a supermarket for now, you see that the supermarket has almost everything that you may need. But the supermarket is a kind of establishment that is owned by somebody with workers and very organized establishment. But if you go to the free market, the open, normal, traditional market, it's open. There will always be retailers based on the commodity, but there will always be the aggregators or the market queens who go out there, bring to the market, and sell to the retailers. So there will always be retailing. You understand? So you will have the huge aggregators bringing into the market and the retailers buying from the market queens or the aggregators. But the thing is that the market queens may not always even be the aggregators. There may be other aggregators who also aggregate, and that is what we are seeing in the future. Because things are getting much, much easier with technology, and everything wants to be done in a very easy way. So maybe we will have actual aggregators who will aggregate, and the market queens will come and offtake from the aggregators at the village level or the community level. So we'll have that kind of, but it will be based on commodity, you know. So, and then how would aggregation to achieve economies of scale be organized? Just as I've said, aggregation will be done maybe at the local level and with the market queens off-taking and then coming to sell to the retailers, but in a very huge way. Thank you.
Thank you. Myself and my senior brother have looked at the questions in this way. Number one, we see agriculture becoming a mechanized level because we see irrigation systems are coming up, and then cash crop production will grow in the future. We also see groundwater harvesting and rainwater harvesting will also grow to help boost agriculture. And we are making reference to Upper East. When you go to Upper East today, you see individual farmers drilling boreholes to access groundwater. And the policy of one village, one dam is also going to harvest rainwater for agriculture. So that is the issues we look from one. Then B or two, we look at the market to be organized towards the urban, to serve the urban population and also export markets. Now C, we also see a very generic way of aggregators is growing up. When we talk about the technology, when you go to Upper East and you take the pepper market, you have aggregators who work with the farmers, and you have another level of aggregators who sit at the transport level and receiving from the aggregators who work with farmers. And then those who sit at the transport level also send the goods to aggregators at the national level. Now, our final issue, how do we achieve economies of scale when you are talking about small-scale farmers? We believe that the cooperative system can help us achieve economies of scale, because small-scale farmers, if they work in cooperative, they can aggregate large volumes of commodities and they can reduce costs, and the market will reduce a lot of costs when they work through aggregators, cooperatives. So this can help us achieve economies of scale, and this is the future of our agriculture. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So we see a lot of big changes going to happen, especially when we see aggregators coming out of the business, because a lot of farmers are going to be well organized. So if farmers are organized, they are going to be linked directly to markets. And so the role of aggregators will not be so effective in the next 20 years. And also we see farmers going into specific crop production. So you have maybe granite producers, you have, so not a mixed cropping anymore, but specific crop production. And because the land is going to be less, we see a lot of technology. So the kind of farmer demographic is going to change. You are no more going to see farmers which are not informed, who have nothing, but these are going to be farmers that are well informed and know what they are doing, and they are employing the newest technology to boost their production. At the market level, is going to be well organized also. So you have specialized markets that are demanding specific things from farmers. So a lot of contract farming, which include food safety issues, that farmers have to comply with a lot of standards to meet those specialized markets to be able to produce.
If I may add up. Yes, so we're also looking at a situation whereby policies will be more favorable to smallholder farmers. So we're looking at production policies, input support, irrigation. We're also looking at post-harvest policies that will be favorable, storage facilities, other infrastructure that will help, small-scale farming. And then we are looking at marketing, guaranteed price and guaranteed market for the small-scale farmers. We're also looking at a situation whereby there will be significant reduction in the use of chemicals to produce food, so more organic farming. And then we are looking at farmer groups becoming cohesive and very vibrant. Yesterday, there was also the talk of the need for cooperatives. So we're looking at strong farmer groups and strong cooperatives, And then we're also looking at a linkage between smallholders and the large commercial farmers. So we are looking at nucleus outgrower schemes and other schemes that will help small-scale farmers work together with large-scale farmers so that there's a win-win situation. And then finally, we are looking at business models like YE-ADAPT that was talked about yesterday. We are looking at warehouse receipt systems. And then we are looking at commodity exchanges that will work very well and help push, the livelihoods of smallholder farmers. And finally, we are looking at smallholder farmers considering value proposition, as in the business canvas model that you talked about, so that they produce according to the needs of the market, quality, they package well, and then they produce tasty food that can be bought in supermarkets and other places.
Okay, I think we probably need to wrap up this session now. So thank you very much. It's been really nice to have the opportunity to connect with you. And I guess the point is that this fits into what you're doing here in Ghana and the challenges you face fit into a much bigger global picture where everybody is struggling with the same sorts of challenges and questions you are here in Ghana. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was very interactive and engaging. And the conversation can continue, because I'm sure you have more to say about that. You have something to say about that before we continue. But let's take our presentation, and we come to you, then you give us that. We'll take comments after the next presentation. Then we do that. Thank you very much, John. So we are going to take another presentation, and this time is on government agricultural policies and provisions. Okay, so Charles, can you hear me? You rather want us to take a break and come back? Okay, then let me take your comments. Let's take a break, and then when we come back, we finish it up with that. Please pass it
on. I very much appreciate what people are saying about what will happen in the next 20 years. See, but we can see that the focus all over is on value chain. And all our policies, right from GPRS through to FASDEP and at the moment Ghana Shared Growth and Development Agenda, and maybe something else is coming out, you can see that they all talk about supporting small-scale farmers. But it is different when it comes to implementation. So if we are to go by that, and even yesterday the research outcome showed that there was more attention on large-scale farmers. So that being the case, what will happen in the next 20 years will be that the small-scale farmers will be crowded out. If only we are going by the trend, I'm not saying that that will automatically happen, but if we are going by what is happening now, where there is more focus on value chain, and for that matter, implementation being different from what is contained in our policies, then we'll begin to see what is happening or what has happened in the developed world now, where improved agricultural productivity has led to the inefficient farmers moving out of agric and joining other areas. I'm just painting a picture. I'm not saying that that is what will automatically happen. But if we are going by the trend, it means if production increases, productivity increases, then the efficient farmers who are going to be maybe small-scale farmers will have to move to other areas. And I don't agree that the aggregators and what will be out, as somebody said, because value chain is being promoted. So if value chain is promoted, how come that some levels of the chain will be eliminated? I don't get it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was a fantastic presentation. It gives us a lot of lessons to look at. I just want to find out whether global consumption, and particularly for developing countries, is it going to be premised on what we can do ourselves, or what the global political economic forces dictate? Because much more is pushed on us against our will. So, and those have no regard to what can be done at the local level. It's just about power play. Then the other thing is, the presentation is envisaging a crisis, food crisis. But we also know that with the middle class and the rich, about 1/3 of food also goes to waste. Now, it goes to waste because we can afford it today. As rational beings, is it not possible that as the demand for food grows, that aspect of waste will also be taken care of, and therefore it will prevent the crisis that is to come? So maybe the presenter would try to clarify this point.
Yes, he is. He's clarifying.
Deep questions. I think, I mean, on one level, I think there is no doubt that food is, there are such big global forces that the global geopolitics of food is going to be a big issue into the future. Now, what that means about local global dynamics is going to play out very differently. You know, if you look at the demand that's going to come from Asia, I mean, that's going to have huge political ramifications around the world. So I don't think it's going to be possible to sit in isolation of what happens globally. That doesn't mean to say you can't do some very good things controlled at the local level. On the food waste side, yes, perhaps that can happen. There are also some people who are starting to argue that actually how much you can really reduce waste by is a bit questionable. So yes, maybe you can reduce it, but I mean the fact that we say we throw away 30%, whether you can really get 30% of that back is also a bit of an open question. So I think there's just still lots of big questions around these issues, but asking the longer term perspective raises the sort of questions that you're raising to think about.
Thank you. So we'll take the last one.
Yeah. Brilliant presentation. I know we're doing a forecast. I was looking actually to hear something on post-harvest loss. Okay, because that is really the major facet of the production system. In Ghana here, we know about 37% or more is lost in the area of late harvest, post-harvest, storage, and all that. Now, with the projections we're currently doing, why shouldn't we be looking at enhanced strategies of post-harvest loss so we can be able to equip the needed production system with the increasing population? Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I think to some extent, some of the technology can actually start to enable this. So I mean, if you think about other sectors in the economy where they have just-in-time production, all managed by sophisticated information systems, I mean, the whole blockchain revolution. So I mean, I suspect there will actually be opportunities for, as we get more digitized, to be able to manage some of those processes much better. But I mean, some of it comes back to the foundations that we've been talking about yesterday. If you don't have good road infrastructure, if you don't have good storage facilities, etc., then it's very hard to tackle those sorts of issues. And I think that comes back to the real need for both a public and a private sector investment in these sorts of issues. You have to have both going together.
Thank you. Last question.
Yeah. My question is that you were looking at emerging trends, but there is a huge global food revolution emerging. It's quite gradual, but it's very, very huge. And they are looking at going back in a way, eat what you grow, and grow what you eat. Let food be your medicine and medicine your food. They are moving away from high-tech biotechnology and looking at the way it all started, back to Eden, so to speak. You captured it in a way when you talked about fruits, vegetables, and the kind of food to avoid obesity and other things. But you also brought in the issue of gene engineering. And the new food revolution is actually moving away from that, from genetic engineering of seed, because this is huge, and it's really going to happen. So I don't know how you were able to bring in the issue of eating fruits, vegetables, and then you brought in the issue of genetic engineering of seed. It doesn't follow because they are moving away actually from that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. we could spend the rest of the day talking about the whole discussion around genetic engineering. I guess I would say that there are all sorts of different ways of shifting genes. So I mean, we've been playing around with genes in our agricultural systems for thousands of years. So I think there's different ways of doing that with different sorts of risks and benefits. I think you're absolutely right. There's sort of issues in moving to different sorts of food systems, and I think we might just see a much more diversity around this. But there are also going to be forces going in those directions as well. So I think I think you raise a good point. We just need to understand what are some of those trends and how might we influence them and how might we better understand the risks and the benefits of different sorts of systems. I think the reality of feeding the number of people we're going to have in urban areas is just going to be a massive challenge for some of the sorts of systems we might ideally like to have, and how we balance that, I think, is a huge question.
Thank you. Can I have it? Okay, so we will break here, but before we take a break, let me acknowledge the presence of the Oxfam Country Director. Is he around? Let's welcome him. Yes, he's at the extreme end. Tijani Hamza, welcome. We didn't see you yesterday. We've seen you today. Glad to see you today. So we take our tea break or cocoa break. And when we go out, we'll take a group photograph. We'll do that before we proceed to the lawn to have our tea or juice. So we'll be back in 20 minutes. I'll keep the time. Thank you.